Amos Brumble from Velotooler.
I'm Yahar, also from Velotooler.
And today we want to talk about brands and what they need as they sell directly to consumers, what they're going to need from the service providers, what the service providers are going to need from them, and some of the fears and how Velotooler can take those fears away.
Mm-hmm. And pricing, which is also really important. It's been a big subject recently, and I think always. So let's go with the first one.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of brands have been contacting us about, doing the assembly work for their customers who purchase their bikes online. And one frequent question that's been brought up is, are our mechanics good enough? And I mean, the short answer is yes, the mechanics are good enough.
Well, they've been good enough for 50 years.
For 50 years, they've been good enough. So, I mean, obviously, it's a legitimate question. I mean, but I think the question is spurred on by the fear of having something go wrong. I mean, obviously, the people that are talking to us, that are looking for our service, they're the ones whose jobs are on the line if it doesn't work out.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand the fear. But at the same time, they're going to need to understand, in order for us to take that fear away, we're going to have to work together to develop a solid checklist. Like, this is how your brand's bikes are assembled by Velotooler mechanics. I mean, at this point, they're leaving it very vague, and I want to clear that up. So we want to really define, this is how it's done. And that will help them to go, to their bosses and be able to choose, Velotooler confidently to get the assembly work.
Right. On the same time, I think on the service provider, it's also kind of like, I wouldn't say like there's a fear, but I think it will just give them a chance to do things even better. And having the standard actually helps. Even a really, really good mechanic, just having a checklist, it really speeds things up in a way.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to think too much.
Yeah, I mean, developing like good mechanics and results for the customer, I mean, more often than not, no matter how skilled the mechanic is having a solid checklist in terms of like assembly, how these companies want the bikes assembled. And a lot of companies, they already have this information. There's somebody that's dealing with their assembly companies that are, probably overseas, like how they want it assembled. So, I mean, yes, they have some standards. It probably hasn't been developed into a checklist. I think a lot of times the person that we're on the phone with or communicating over internet maybe doesn't have access to that information. So, we can work together and get that information.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. I mean, and the things that we're going to be looking for, we've got some simple checklists, but, we're looking for, like, assembly instructions. I mean, we don't need to know, like, how to adjust a derailleur. But, I mean, if the company has specific parts that are going to have specific directions in how they want it to be assembled, then they are privy to that information. We're going to want that information. We're going to need, like, a breakdown of, like, the parts. So if there's a small part missing, we need to be able to request some of those small parts to be filled to complete the job, then we're going to need to be able to do that. If there's a warranty issue down the line, then we want procedures on how that wants to be handled, whether if they want pictures of specific items, serial numbers. I mean, we'll be able to provide all those things, but, we need to be able to fulfill the requirements for them to confidently take care of, like, warranties, because we'll wind up being the people that do the field service for these brands.
Right, and just to mention it one more time, I think we do emphasize the bike profile very much, and I think by giving us information and giving all the components and even all specific details will actually complete the bike profile, and it will actually make a way easy for both the service providers and even for the customer to have this information and know what to expect even in terms of warranty. It's just we've learned that there's some of the dark sides of the warranty when consumer walks in to bike shop and they get surprised when the bike shop charges them a labor fee, even the warranty is specifically set free.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of those things definitely crop up. I mean, I think a lot of the checklist idea might sound overwhelming to a brand, but like I said, we don't need to know how to adjust a derailleur or install a crank.
Mhm.
But if they have specifications for, you know, like how tight the bolts would be, you know, like the seat post binder bolt, you know, or if, you know, if it's a threaded bottom bracket and they have a torque specification for that, and if they want an assembly compound of some kind on there, you know, then yeah, we would want to know that. You know, we don't, the stuff that they don't actually produce, we don't need to know about it. You know, we've got that covered in
Yeah,
terms of,
and it's,
we have good mechanics, they
and
can do
also,
that.
obviously on our end, we do contribute into like this big open information, and you know we do
Yeah.
put information from SRAM and Shimano, and
I mean, it's available for them. So, I mean, I guess the big thing is that we understand that there's a lot of fear in making a decision to choose a service provider, and that's how we would solve a lot of those problems, would be working together with the brand.
right.
So,
That's about it, right?
Yeah.
There's-
if you'd like to contact Jaeger, what's your email address?
It's very simple. It doesn't really pronounce as Jaeger. It's actually pronounced Yahor. It's YAHOR, and at Velotooler. You can also reach out to Amos, which is going to be Amos, which is
Amos at velotooler.com. Yep, AMOS.
So don't be afraid. Your job is not on the line. I think you will get promoted.
Yeah. You're gonna look great.
Okay. Well, thanks.